And a chance for us to check on the two teams for this Charity Shield today. First of all, the Liverpool team, and it speaks for itself, no injuries. And indeed, when I asked the manager, Bob Paisley, for it yesterday, he laughingly said, well, it's the same as last year's Charity Shield team. Nothing seems to change much. And indeed, Bob will be hoping that Liverpool produce that same brilliant performance that beat Arsenal 3-1 in this fixture last season, and straightway, of course, set them on course for the championship. As for West Ham, well, they come without striker Stuart Pearson, who injured a knee in one of the warm-up matches in Scotland. And so the two men up front are going to be David Cross and Jeff Pike. There was a doubt about central defender Alvin Martin, who had a back injury, but the good news for West Ham that he is fit to play. And the surprise is that there's no place in the back four for Frank Lampard. He is one of the substitutes. And I suppose if we're looking for the teams to turn on the style today, which we want above all, then maybe Trevor Brooking, who scored that winner here in May for West Ham, can do something about that. Supported unquestionably by Alan Devonshire in the midfield, who, with young Paul Allen, has just signed a long-term contract at Upton Park. And in midfield, Liverpool, for their part, have Terry McDermott, who scored 2 brilliant goals in this fixture last season, and Graham Souness, who will be as competitive as ever, and who incidentally starts this new season as a married man. He was married 3 weeks ago today, and so far he tells me he's spent only 3 days with his new bride. Well, that's a footballer's life for you. The referee today is John Hunting from Leicestershire. One, two, three. And at the start of the game, the two managers beginning 90 edgy minutes. John Ryle on the left, Bob Paisley on the right. And it's Liverpool in that famous and formidable strip of all red who get us away, attacking the goal to our right. West Ham in the change strip of white. McDermott, Souness. Liverpool have played 4 warm-up games and have been beaten twice on the continent, in Belgium and in West Germany. West Ham come to this game with 6 warm-up matches under their belts. Pike. winning that battle with Phil Neal, cross finding Brooking and spraying it wide there as Souness very quickly clatters into Brooking there, and John Hunting was right on the spot to award West Ham that free kick. Paul Allen. And now Brush. Didn't get into the FA Cup final side, did Brush, and neither did the number 8 today, Pat Holland. Bonds playing it towards Pike. And in fact, Holland caught fractionally offside. He came back into an onside position, but when that ball was played through to him, he was fractionally offside. Free kick to Liverpool. Hansen to Thompson. Thompson, one of the England successes in that European Championship in Italy. And Hansen playing it forward here for Ray Kennedy. Lovely left foot of his, this time looking for Dalglish, and it's Brush who'd gone there with him. Corner though to Liverpool. Phil Thompson up on the far post. And Ray Kennedy is at the near post, being watched by Paul Brush. It's Dalglish's corner, played wide there, and Martin getting it away. Here's Souness again, though, for Liverpool, to Phil Neal. McDermott's made a break down the right. It left a bit of a gap for him, and now here's Case. But again, Brush was strong in the challenge. Souness getting in there. The whistle had gone for a free kick to Liverpool. And West Ham will be glad about that, because at that moment Souness looked very dangerous indeed, and it could even be dangerous now as Souness finds Neal, and that's still in play. Well, West Ham assumed that was going to swing out. Stewart thumping it away into the crowd. Ray Kennedy with Liverpool's throw. It's with Hansen. Every West Ham player is back, but McDermott is right in there, and it could come for him, just wide. West Ham in terrible disarray there. In fact, there was an infringement. There was a handball by McDermott, and it was certainly a narrow squeak, or it seemed to be, until that whistle went. Hansen taking it across the penalty area, the little chip in there. McDermott now will burst on the scene, and there must have been a handball there at that moment as he just squirts it wide of the post. Hansen back to Clements. Hansen, who like Souness, was married in the summer. Martin. Here's Brush. Liverpool captain Phil Thompson, and now Alvin Martin, himself a boy from Bootle who used to support Liverpool as a youngster, the West Ham number 5. Stewart, cross. This will come for Kennedy. Now Souness, good play here by Liverpool, sending Johnson on his way. A lot of pace about David Johnson, but that time Stewart kept with him, but Johnson still got it in. Brush cutting it out, though, for West Ham. But a good-looking move down Liverpool's left there, and here's Souness again. Curled in this time for Thompson. A lot of red shirts forward now for Liverpool. Look at the space there. It'll come for Souness, but Stewart clashed there with him and just nicked it away. McDermott this time back for Jimmy Case. And no problems there for Phil Thompson, or for Phil Parks. The long-range shooting of Jimmy Case again. It's with Devonshire. Brooking. Devonshire. Brooking's gone forward, in danger of being caught offside, but Holland won't be. Almost the first touch of the ball that Pat Holland's had. A little nick through there for Brooking, onside. And Pike is in there. Can Pike turn it back? He tried to get it off for cross, and in the end it was Case who put it behind. But that was a good searching break there by West Ham. And Brooking was right in the middle of it. And it's Pike here who not only keeps the ball in play, finds that little cross in there, but it didn't quite reach David Cross, and Case was able to put it over. Brooking with West Ham's corner. Bonds tried to flick a header in, and it might have got to him because it certainly escaped Alan Kennedy. Devonshire, a nice turn. Brooking onto that left foot, which he likes so much, and that's a good-looking cross again towards Pike, and Clemens was not exactly struggling, but he was under pressure there. Pike is a small man, but he really gets up well. Thompson. Neil. Souness. Thompson now to Hansen. Souness playing it forward again towards McDermott. A little Paul Allen was in there. Well for West Ham. Saying before the game he was more nervous about this game as a 17-year-old than he was about the cup final, but he showed no nerve there. And now Booker. Stewart. Played forward again for Pike, but Hansen's with him. Devonshire. Pike, back for Devonshire again. It'll be too far, I think, for Cross. Yes, Hansen there. And now Souness, leaving it for Kennedy. To Alan Kennedy. And now for David Johnson. Oh, he's got past his man nicely there. The final pass wasn't all that good, but it eventually came to Case. Neil. Well, it's got to be the worst shot of the season so far. A throw to West Ham. Kenny Dalglish might have fancied his chances a little better than that. Brooking. Pike. Brooking already revelling in this game. He's certainly a big occasion player, Brooking. Devonshire. Rush has gone outside. Case almost impeded there by Devonshire. That's a throw to Liverpool. Dalglish. Bonds to Allen. Cross. Nick back again for Billy Bonds. And an offside against Pat Holland. Souness. Neil. Souness again. Cut out by Allen. Johnson. Brush sticking very close to Johnson, and Brush is just about the quickest man in the West Ham squad, and I know West Ham have been fearing the pace of Johnson in the lead up to this game, and that may have been the reason that Brush is playing there and that Frank Lampard is not. Here's Brush again. Now Martin. To Bonds. Stewart. Pike going into that. Oh my word, his feet were dangerously high there on Phil Thompson. Caught him on the side of the head. Free kick to Liverpool. Hansen playing it forward again, but too far for Dalglish, and Bonds got the header there, but this is going to fall for McDermott, and it comes to Bonds again. Holland. That won't reach Stewart though, and here's Dalglish with Alan Kennedy making the break down the left as well, in with a left foot by him towards David Johnson, but no problems there for Phil Parkes. Johnson again, his sheer pace getting in there, but then a muddle with Ray Kennedy, allowing the ball to come to Trevor Brooking. Stewart, Holland, Pike, Allen, playing it around quite smoothly at the moment, West Ham. And then giving it away to Jimmy Case. Johnson again. Neal's made the overlap. McDermott. Souness, a bit of a gap opening up ahead of him, but here's McDermott again. Sweeping it wide to the right here, and Brush just getting in there before Case. A throw to Liverpool. With about 12 minutes gone, no score. Hansen, Kennedy, Johnson, Dalglish would like to get there, but Billy Bonds had the heading ability to stop him. And now Alvin Martin. Finding Brooking. Oh, through the legs of Hansen. The West Ham fans enjoyed that. And Brooking, with men outside him, but then running into trouble. Cross trying to resurrect that little situation, but Brooking had opportunities there, but didn't take them. Which is unlike him. It's Pike. Hansen. Dalglish, Bonds going in hard from the back, but he must have connected with the ball. Kennedy, the long ball forward. Bonds again with this job of watching Kenny Dalglish. And played back nicely by Dalglish for Souness. And charged off Paul Allen and behind for the corner to Liverpool. Case with the corner. Rush at the post. A deep one too, towards Ray Kennedy. Brooking had gone back there, just nicked on the header. Holland, shoved in the back unfairly, a free kick to West Ham. Cross with a header. Now Souness, a lot of space ahead of him, but West Ham defence was massed on the edge of their own penalty area. Kennedy, Dalglish, Alan Kennedy, back to Alan Kennedy again, or at least it was Billy Bonds who came away for West Ham and found Trevor Brooking. Martin, Brush. And now Bonds, relieved for the moment of the duties of looking after Kenny Dalglish, can go forward himself as he finds Brooking. And now it's Ray Stewart. Real strong, competitive Scot, finding Pat Holland, trying to get it to the byline, going all the way there with Alan Hansen, and Hansen forced to give away that corner. They might try a short one, they have, because Brooking was lurking. Good cross of the ball, Brooking, and David Cross tried to get there with his header. Stewart, a change of mind, he finds Holland. Now Allen. And that's, well, quite a misunderstanding there, as it happens, between Hansen and Clements, both looking at each other, wondering who was going to go for the ball. Neither did. A goal kick to Liverpool. Billy Bonds, who's looking after Kenny Dalglish, as you can see right there. There he goes again, Dalglish, and the ball hits Billy Bonds. Pike, Brooking. And Pike's going to be well offside, and Brooking was aware of it, had to hold on to the ball as the Liverpool back four came forward quickly. Case has a nice ball, releasing Phil Neal. Martin's come across there. Case. Thompson. Souness. And David Cross getting that one, finding Jeff Pike. Kennedy. Played on for Dalglish. It's Bonds again. West Ham bench there. John Lyall clearly, obviously realising the problems that Dalglish could cause them, and he's told Billy Bonds, don't you let him turn anywhere near our box. And at the moment, Bonds is denying that brilliant Scottish international that. Kennedy with a shot. Oh! And a goal by McDermott. The ball was dropped by Parks, and Terry McDermott scores for Liverpool with 17 minutes gone. Phil Parks, I suppose, will blame himself, but McDermott snapping up the opportunity that was offered there for him, and Liverpool have something to cheer, and he hasn't. Well, the shot came in very quickly. It was Ray Kennedy just knocking it in there, and it was Alan Kennedy's shot that Parks couldn't quite hold, and just look what a gift it was for McDermott. So 17 minutes gone, Liverpool in the lead. And Terry McDermott the scorer. 16 goals for Liverpool last season, and 2 in this Charity Shield. It's becoming a habit for him. It's he who's now put Liverpool into the lead. Brooking, Pike. Out of play. Feel a little sorry for Phil Parks. I feel a bit sorry for him. He had a tremendous season last season and had some great games in cup ties. And in fact, West Ham had their best goals against record since 1924 last season, and a lot of it was down to him. But here's Pike now for West Ham. Brush. Devonshire. Pike, a nice little touch there, but Allen fighting and getting a mistake out of Ray Kennedy. Holland, Stewart, Devonshire again. Yes, there was a foul on Alan Devonshire, a free kick for West Ham. They've already taken it. Holland, Devonshire. Cut out by Ray Kennedy, a throw to West Ham. Fell nicely for West Ham until Alan Kennedy got in there. Found Terry McDermott. Tried to get Dalglish on his way. Here's Alvin Martin for West Ham. Brooking. Martin for Brooking again. 20 minutes gone. That'll not find Cross. Stewart. Alvin Martin stood on the cop as a youngster, shouting on Liverpool. Brooking finding Brush, and now Billy Bonds. Brush playing it on there towards Cross, who's beaten in the air by Hansen. It'll come through comfortably to Clements. A Liverpool throw. Thompson. And it's Hansen now on the ball for Liverpool as he finds Ray Kennedy, and now Souness. Alan Kennedy. Johnson. And that goes for the corner. So as Liverpool push their big men forward, amongst them Alan Hansen and Ray Kennedy here. Corner taken by Dalglish. Oh, and Souness was so close with that one. Really caught West Ham out. The corner was played that much wider by Kenny Dalglish. And Souness caught them out, but was just off target. Brooking. Oh, what a good ball there by Brooking. Played on for Holland, who's got a lone battle up there at the moment. Supported now by Cross. Back again for Brooking. Played in straight away here for Paul Allen. And now for Brush. Martin, halfway through the first half now. Liverpool leading 1-0. Terry McDermott the scorer. Martin. Damit Souness. Oh, and then gives it to him. Now a break on for Liverpool because Dalglish is up and Johnson's on this side of the field as well, with West Ham having pushed men forward. Free kick, and how quickly he took it. The quick thinking there of Kenny Dalglish, and it's got Kennedy on his way. And a goal kick. But a good example there of how Kenny Dalglish took that free kick within, I should think, half a second of the whistle having gone, and good refereeing by John Hunting, allowing that to be done in that way. It's a good start for West Ham, and they've a few ragged ends showing at the moment. Still only this one goal down. And they blocked out Dalglish there. There was no obstruction, said the referee. Alan Kennedy. Dalglish's header. Allen. And now Stewart. Brooking and Alan Kennedy jumping for this one. Brooking winning the header. A fall for David Cross, who seems to have taken a knock there with that clash with Hansen. Cut out by the Brush there. Allen. Brooking letting that run in that characteristic style and finding David Cross. And the whistle had gone for a free kick. Liverpool bench, Ronnie Moran on the right, Joe Fagan. Bob Paisley, but it's John Lyle who's got something to say for himself, urging Ray Stewart to go forward. And there's Stewart with the cross. Devonshire trying to come in late on it, but the header by Phil Neal finding Jimmy Case. And not content with just making that header, it's Phil Neal who's leading the charge through the centre for Liverpool, but here's McDermott, the cross coming in, and an offside, I think probably against Phil Neal. Brooking. And our Bonds. Allen tussling with Souness. Fall for Johnson.
Challenge by Paul Allen was a little tough there on the back of McDermott. Hansen. Dalglish. This time he turned well and beat Alvin Martin. Now he's faced by Bonds. The little chip coming through. McDermott hoping to get on the end of it. Bonds for West Ham. And Liverpool push their back four to within about 5 yards of the centre line, and it certainly threw West Ham off balance, fearing they were going to be caught offside. Hansen. Brush. Thompson's guided header. Case. Thompson. And Souness for Thompson. That's a good ball played by Phil Thompson for Graham Souness. Dalglish helping it on, and in the end it was Alvin Martin's header that comes back to Parks. And it's with Devonshire. It's a very hot day, and it's a pitch that calls for stamina here, and it's a testing way to any side to start a season. The pace has dropped just a little bit. Brooking finding Stewart. It's with Pat Holland. Brooking almost lazily playing the ball there for Brush, with Devonshire outside him. Here's Devonshire. Pike. Thompson. Dalglish. And Devonshire getting the better of Case. Well, it was a left wing cross from him that led to that goal against Arsenal. At that time, it cannoned off the Liverpool skipper Phil Thompson for a corner to West Ham. Alan Devonshire, who won a couple of caps for England after his cup final display here against Northern Ireland and in Australia. There's Souness there and Kennedy there in the thick of it. And Brooking with the corner. Dalglish looking for support. Well, he might have chosen any one of six there, and in the end it was Souness who plays the ball straight to Brush. Now Brooking. Well, that was a lovely turn by Brooking, but sadly for West Ham, Phil Neal was there before Jeff Pike. Here's Hansen. Now Johnson. Well, the pass wasn't accurate enough, and Bonds got there before Dalglish. Brooking with a little turn here for Holland, a little turn again, this time for Stewart. Pike alone is up there and outnumbered by Thompson and Neal. Here's Case. Johnson again. Just playing it around smoothly, almost arrogantly at the moment, Liverpool. Neil very quickly getting back in the groove as McDermott hits one in more firmly across that West Ham goal mouth. Johnson couldn't keep it in. It's a goal kick. Well, it's a quieter atmosphere for the Charity Shield than it is for the Cup final, but certainly the crowd are enjoying the sunshine, and certainly the Liverpool fans are enjoying the way their team are performing at the moment. They've clicked very quickly back into groove. Rush for West Ham. Played for Pike. A nice little turn by him, but Allen couldn't carry on the work. And here's McDermott now for Liverpool. For Jimmy Case. Bit of support up for him on the far side is David Johnson. Getting up there, nodding it in there. Billy Bonds heading it away for West Ham. Kennedy, Johnson. Holland getting back there to deny him the cross, but can't deny him the throw. Alan Kennedy. Oh, Case. Devonshire misjudged that one. Alan Kennedy. And that time Parks is down quickly. That's a couple of good breaks that Alan Kennedy's made, and the first of them, of course, led to the goal when it was his shot that Parks couldn't hold. Rush. Pike. Oh, given away again to Souness. That's a dangerous thing to do in that sort of area. And here's Dalglish, and there are 4 Liverpool men up. Dalglish playing it on for McDermott. Back again for Kenny. Dalglish just over the top. Well, a bit of venom there about Liverpool, and that was nearly making West Ham pay for their mistake. They gave the ball away. And Dalglish with a shot curling, as you can see there, but too high. And at the moment, Liverpool are really getting a grip on this game, leading 1-0. And denying West Ham much of a look at things at the other end of the field. But here's Pike now to Brooking. Holland. Stewart. Crossed in towards the near post. Pike nearly got that near post header there, but it didn't come for him. Allen trying to come there and make something of it. A linesman was flagging for something. May have been an offside. Thought at first it may have been a foul by Paul Allen, but that certainly wasn't where the infringement was in that case. Hot work, whether you're 17 or much older. Souness. Ray Kennedy. Souness again. They're really shackling West Ham at the moment at Liverpool, playing it in a nice, comfortable pace to suit themselves, coming forward, trying a few things on, getting men from the back forward as well, but above all, denying West Ham anything at all at the other end of the field. McDermott. A long, long cross there towards Ray Kennedy. Holland is there, and now Alvin Martin just whacking it away. 10 minutes to go to half-time, and Liverpool leading 1-0. And I would think Bob Paisley now with his tie-off, forward there, must be reasonably happy with the way his team are performing at the moment. Here's McDermott for them now. And Phil Neal, goal kick. Devonshire. Pike. Billy Bonds now for West Ham. That's a West Ham throw. Kennedy going down on the track there. Maybe a scorch mark, I would think, in the heat we've got at the moment at Wembley. Clouding over a little bit at the moment, though. A throw to Liverpool. Perhaps quite as spectacular at the moment as Joe Mercer, for one, would like to have seen it. But here's Paul Allen for West Ham. Stewart wanting the ball played forward. That was a nice little chip by Allen, incidentally, and West Ham giving the ball away again, though. They've done that several times in the last 5 or 10 minutes. And now McDermott finding Jimmy Case as Liverpool come forward in strength again, with David Johnson on the far side, turning it in there, and Alan Hansen was right in there, almost to provide the finishing touch. Another example there of men from the back getting forward quickly for Liverpool. Kennedy now chipping it in there. Hansen's header, Ray Kennedy and Billy Bonds with a chance to thread his way clear. Finds Brooking and now Pike. Free kick. Liverpool perhaps a little unfortunate. But I would think First Division managers watching this tonight will say, oh, well, we got a few problems with Liverpool again this season, as if they didn't know it already. Brooking, though. Holland, he's kept it in. Played again for Trevor Brooking. Now cross. It'll come for Paul Allen, and it's given away again, this time to Phil Thompson. And here comes another Liverpool break. And an offside against Kenny Dalglish. Former West Ham manager, Ron Greenwood there, enjoying a bit of the sunshine and none of the pressure at the moment for Ron. The England manager, of course. And now Pike. Here's Brush. West Ham getting some back men forward now. Paul Allen with the shot. A goal kick for Liverpool. Kenny Dalglish, who scored in this game last season. And McDermott, who scored in it this season, to give Liverpool that lead with about 5 minutes to go to half-time. Here's Dalglish again. Johnson. Ray Kennedy to Graham Souness. Here's Alan Kennedy. And they're doing a lot of good tackling there at the back, West Ham. It was Pat Holland on that occasion. Hansen finding Case. McDermott just flipping it on again for Jimmy Case. Will it be a blockbuster? Not now. Ray Kennedy instead. They all were lining up for the shot, and while they were considering who was going to take it, Billy Bonds stepped in and saved the day for West Ham. Phil Thompson to Ray Clements. So Billy Bonds might have been nicked as he got that ball away. Seems to have got a blow in the stomach, in fact. Hansen. Now Stewart back to Parks. I think he got a knock in the stomach when he was threading his way through that Liverpool defence, or the Liverpool attack rather. But that won't stop him getting everybody going. Oh, that's captaincy for you. And I think for years he's been captain by marvellous example at West Ham. That was never better shown than in the cup final itself here in May. But it's Case on the ball gain for Liverpool. Kennedy, Souness. Case for McDermott. Case again. Dalglish's backward header. Billy Bonds with one for himself. Souness. Alan Kennedy. Dalglish trying to get in behind them, but again Billy Bonds is there, but it's Dalglish now. Now how will Bonds handle him this time? Dalglish happy to let it go for the corner. And Bonds giving him another one. Great candidates at the near post for Liverpool, but they've got Phil Neal, David Johnson and Jimmy Case up there in the West Ham penalty area. And Martin heading it away for West Ham. Here's Souness. Case nodding that on very well indeed there for McDermott. Played inside again, but Ray Stewart gets it away for West Ham. McDermott held back by Brush. Free kick. The last couple of minutes of the first half now. And Liverpool looking to increase that one-goal lead given them by Terry McDermott after 17 minutes. Case to McDermott. Souness. Neal. Dalglish. Bonds right there with him again. Sliding it out here for McDermott to hit a curler there towards Ray Kennedy on the far side. Neal with the shot. Goal kick. Devonshire for West Ham. Cross. Bonds. Cross. Here's Souness. And that's going to be Phil Parks. Allen playing that ball nicely from cross, but then it's here with Phil Thompson again for Liverpool. And West Ham, apart from that one moment when Jeff Pike pulled the ball back from the byline and Liverpool had a bit of trouble getting it away, it's the only time West Ham have ever looked in a scoring position in this first half. First half dominated by Liverpool's calm, professional play. It hasn't been spectacular, but Liverpool already looking pretty awesome in the way they've set about this task here at Wembley today. And Phil Parks, it was a difficult shot, certainly, coming quickly at him from Alan Kennedy, but he lost it for that moment, and Terry McDermott, number 10, was there to rifle it in from no range at all to put Liverpool in the lead after 17 minutes. So as the managers go off, there's John Lyall on the left leading the West Ham charge there, with a fair bit of talking to do. Wondering whether Trevor Brooking can turn it, of course, for West Ham in the second half. We'll be back with a second half, and that comes up after this short break. 1, 2, 3. Welcome back to Wembley then, at the start of the second half of this FA Charity Shield. Liverpool leading by 1-0, scored by Terry McDermott after 17 minutes. Just waiting for referee John Hunting to get the second half underway. His last engagement, incidentally, in the summer was a World Cup match in Nigeria against Tunisia. Well, it's West Ham now, attacking the goal to our right and needing somehow to unlock the handcuffs that Liverpool have put on them in the first half. First half dominated by the calm, professional approach of Liverpool, and West Ham really hardly in it. Ray Kennedy playing it back to Ray Clements. And now Neil. Liverpool, who start the season in earnest in the league next week, at home to Crystal Palace. West Ham at home to Luton. Here's Souness. For Liverpool, for Kenny Dalglish. Turned back there as McDermott was arriving just a little too late, as it happens. But a throw for Liverpool again. Well, I should think Bob Paisley had less to say to his men than John Lyall must have had to say to his. And I would think one of the things that John wanted West Ham to do was certainly to get out there and compete a little harder, maybe, than they did in the first half. Brooking, the touch, the ball given away again, this time to McDermott, who finds Dalglish. Only Johnson is really up in a strong attacking position. Now here's McDermott. And here is David Johnson. And Stewart timed that interception well. Dalglish again will take this corner for Liverpool with Phil Thompson right up there. Ray Kennedy again at the near post. Indeed, only Alan Hansen of the outfield players is back. Brooking getting the header in there. It'll fall, though, for Graham Souness. And here's Hansen. Neil turning it in here for McDermott. And that's another corner. Off Alan Devonshire. Hansen making a run towards the near post, but it's a decoy run, and there's Johnson getting up on the far side. And Brooking will take the throw now for West Ham. Case. Well, it was a good try, actually, by Jimmy Case, because he noticed that Phil Parkes was a good 6 or 7 yards out of his goal and tried to hit it above him. Bonds. Cross, chesting it down there for Brooking. Played back again for David Cross. Pike was trying to come in on it, but again, that red door shuts tight as Kennedy gets it back. Dalglish. Brooking letting it go, but I think Neil will get there before Pike. Here's Phil Neal for Liverpool. Played on again for McDermott. Slipped wide here for Jimmy Case. Neil linking up with the attack again. Beating Devonshire, the cross coming in, no problems. Hansen. Thompson. Yeah, for all their superiority, Liverpool just have this one goal, and that had a touch of good fortune about it. And in truth, apart from that goal, for all their superiority, you can't really recall Phil Parkes making a really, or being called upon to make a really serious save. Brooking. Played for Dalglish. Back again for Ray Kennedy. Nice little touch there by Dalglish, but Kennedy stopped by Martin, and here's Allen. Cross. Well, a bit of freedom here maybe for Alan Devonshire. On the right-hand side this time. But then played it far too close to Phil Thompson. And back it goes to Ray Clements. And he releases Graham Souness as the Liverpool fans start to shout now as the ball comes out here to Jimmy Case. David Johnson now. Bonds has gone across to cover him. Hansen let it go through, and Brooking nicks it away before it came through to Kenny Dalglish, and now it's opening up again with Paul Allen, but he couldn't quite clear Alan Kennedy with that little floated pass towards Devonshire. That one finds Pike. Souness to McDermott. Johnson. Dalglish is available in there now. Dalglish looking to get it onto the left foot and wide of the mark. For a moment he had a yard or a yard and a half of pace or space, and everybody held their breath. But his guided shot, as you can see, was well wide of the target. Hansen. Johnson trying to get away from Billy Bonds. Brush with the header. Devonshire back here for West Ham. Stewart. Played in this time for Cross. Kennedy, oh, this will let Hansen in. Dalglish is up there with him. And McDermott is right in there as well, but Bonds again to the rescue of West Ham, and he almost got him back into trouble there until he gave away the corner. But a great breakthrough again by Terry McDermott. And a corner again for Liverpool, who continue to have the better of things, but still lead by this solitary goal. Alan Kennedy, that's got to be Phil Parkes. Again, they thought it was going out, and that's the second time in this game when the West Ham defence have assumed the ball was going out of play, and my word, they were very nearly punished for it then. That could so easily have been the second goal for them. As the throw is taken for Liverpool, we just have time quickly to look at this one again. And Phil Parkes plunging at the feet there, and Brush eventually getting it away. But against a team like Liverpool, you do get punished for assuming things like that. Kennedy's shot, well wide, goal kick. Holland. Bonds. Ray Kennedy to Graham Souness. Swept wide here again towards Jimmy Case. Phil Neal getting it away. Devonshire might have let McDermott in. They thought about a penalty there, but the referee didn't want to know, and in the end David Johnson hits it way over the top. But as McDermott went scorching into that West Ham penalty area, the cries went up for a penalty. but the referee said no. Allen. McDermott. Case taking it nicely in his stride. The cross coming in, and Ray Stewart getting it away. Ray Kennedy now to Kenny Dalglish. This looks dangerous. Oh, Liverpool really playing with West Ham, and it just goes wide by Ray Kennedy. Oh, but what a brilliant piece of football, with Liverpool combining superbly with great simplicity and leaving West Ham absolutely in their wake. Jimmy Case with the cross there, nodded out there in the first place by Stewart. And just look at this combination here until Ray Kennedy puts it wide. Phil Neal, and look at McDermott on the break again, but Bonds will cut him out. Well, he got a marvellous game again, Terry McDermott. You wouldn't have thought his break had been a matter of a few days, not much more, between England's affairs in Italy and reporting back for training. It's with Stewart. Brooking, but not aware behind him that David Johnson was coming in fast. And here's Alan Hansen for Liverpool. They're picking up the pace a little bit now, Liverpool, as Johnson takes it up and finds Dalglish. Played in again first time, simply but accurately here for Alan Hansen. Going all the way, Hansen, and then plays it wide there for McDermott to hit another one that's wide of the goal. But again, Liverpool coming along and carving great swathes through the West Ham defence. But at the moment, their finishing touches deserting them. Cross, Devonshire. And now Holland. Brooking. Allen. Cross coming deep. Brooking looking for a bit of space there, but my word, there's little to be found, with Liverpool having pulled everybody bar David Johnson back. Pike trying to get in behind them, but in fact it was offside. Ray Kennedy, Souness, Dalglish, Devonshire cutting that one out well for West Ham. But certainly you get the impression in this opening quarter of an hour of the second half that Liverpool have upped the pace a little bit. But still it's 1-0. And here's Pike though for West Ham. Brooking is up, Cross is up, he's getting some support behind from Brush. Brooking. Stewart. Came to nothing, but this might come to something as Dalglish takes it up from Ray Kennedy. Stewart back there for West Ham. And now Allen. Stewart. Cross battling away up there, but Hansen will get there before Pike. And the West Ham fans looking for something to shout about, but there's precious little at the moment, even though their side is just this single goal down to the mighty Liverpool outfit. Here's Holland. Pike.
Well, that's the first really undignified thing we've seen in the Liverpool defence really today. Souness. And young Paul Allen, the 17-year-old, battles away against Souness, but then gives away the free kick. Souness. And now Neil. Case. Played in for Dalglish. Noticeable there how quickly Stewart closed in on Dalglish, who just don't let him turn. But now a break by Paul Allen. Holland. Inside for Brooking, and West Ham have got a few up now. And on the far side is Alan Devonshire coming in there with a header across there. Clements really stretched, cross with the overhead. The best break of the match for West Ham without any question at all. With Paul Allen in the first place having made a lot of the running. Brooking with the deep cross, having looked up and spotted Alan Devonshire on the far side. Devonshire a good header in there. Clements really stretching and crossed with the overhead that was wide. Thompson now. Hansen. That ball could have been awkward for Hansen to get. It was played a little too close to Pat Holland. And now it's as though West Ham have picked up the fervour of the occasion a little bit from that near miss and are really beginning to bite at Liverpool. I'm betting that Joe's legs there are twitching, remembering the days that he's been here. It's with Phil Neal for Liverpool. Case, Souness. Dalglish. And here are West Ham again, but Pike can't keep Cross's pass in. And it's with McDermott. Stewart planting that one away, but Thompson, time to consider all things and plays it here for Hansen. It's with Kennedy. Hansen going past the challenge of Cross. Good snaking run and a simple little pass in the end to Neal. Now the searching one to McDermott, catches him on the back of the heel. A little lucky there, it comes to Case. Goal kick. Push forward a little bit, West Ham, but there's still 25 minutes to go. And although they've been dominated by Liverpool, you still have to say all the time it's only 1-0. You've still got something of a chance, but here's Kennedy now. Maybe it'll be 2-0 across the face of that goal and then pushed behind by Paul Rush for a corner to Liverpool. So Liverpool's corner. Case with it, Brooking's header. It'll come for McDermott. But Allen had closed him down a little too quickly. Here's Case again, almost in that corner position once more. And that time Martin got it away. Here's David Johnson for Liverpool. Played inside again for Ray Kennedy. The lazy left foot shot way over that crossbar. Goal kick. Still worth repeating, though, that Phil Parkes has made that one serious mistake that has cost a goal and has virtually been unemployed in terms of making serious saves ever since. In spite of the tremendous running of Terry McDermott and the formidable appearance that Liverpool have given all afternoon. Stewart. Sending Alec Kennedy back. Hansen. Dalglish, faithfully followed again by Billy Bonds. Played in there towards Phil Neal, who'd gone forward and somehow kept the ball in. Hansen playing it back again for Case, and now Souness. And now Johnson. McDermott. It's a West Ham throw. The ball just nicking off the right shin of Terry McDermott. Brookie. Johnson. Playing it in here for Kennedy. Back again for Johnson. Looking to see what's available, and it's Phil Neal on the far side. Cut out, though, by Devonshire. Now, this could be a good break for West Ham if they get men up quickly enough. Cross is up there. Number 9, there's Cross, but again, they've given it away. Allen again. Really battling away there against Ray Kennedy. Now Stewart. Pike. Pike again, and a chance for West Ham to make some ground down this right flank now. Holland. Now Brooking. Well, he scored here in the cup final. He scored for England at Hampden Park. He scored for England in Naples against Spain in the European Championship. He likes to get goals on the big occasion. And I thought for a moment that it was going to fall for him nicely there as Holland worms his way into that situation, plays it nicely there for Brooking, lets it run so well. Look, the gap was there, but I think there was just that little bit of a bobble as he was about to hit it. Amazing, Ray Clements, virtually unemployed, but Liverpool conceded only 30 league goals last season in 42 games, so it's not a new experience for him. But West Ham looking a little more promising in the last few minutes. Devonshire, as though they realise that although they've been under the cosh for so long, this game, if only they can put one good move together, is savable. Hansen. Johnson. Bonds getting it away. Alan Kennedy. West Ham in the meantime warming up a young striker, Nicky Morgan.
Getting his instructions from John Lyle. So 20 minutes to go, and Liverpool still leading 1-0. Billy Bonds on the ball again for West Ham. Holland, cut out by Thompson. And now Brooking. Played there nicely for Devonshire. Oh, and Clements was there in the nick of time, and West Ham were almost in. Lovely ball by Brooking, and a great run by Devonshire. And a brave piece of keeping, as it happens, from Ray Clements as well. Played in there almost casually by Trevor Brooking. And Devonshire couldn't quite get there in time. West Ham about to try to make their substitution. It was the man who was on the ball then, Jeff Pike, number 11, as you can see there, who's going to come off. Now, there's a chance for Stewart. No, there's not, because again, Clements is called into action. That's twice in a minute, and I don't think Ray's too happy about that. Hansen, Souness, one Kennedy to another, Allen to Ray, back it goes to Allen, Phil Neal to Phil Thompson. Case adjusting his position nicely there, but then hitting the ball against Brush, and here's Devonshire again for West Ham. And he runs superbly with the ball, Devonshire, and we've seen so little of that this afternoon so far. But here's Holland, also doing it well. The little flick through here for Devonshire, played on again for Holland, but the flag is up for offside. And Pat Holland just caught offside, and Devonshire coming a little bit more into the picture in these last few minutes, it seems. Made one or two good breaks. The substitution is now being made as Jeff Pike trots off and Nicky Morgan, a young striker, comes on. Alan Kennedy, David Johnson, and now is Stewart. Cross. Brooking taking that little pass from Holland. Ray Stewart again. Playing for Billy Bonds. Now West Ham have pushed a few forward. Their problem has been that they've been giving the ball away in these sort of situations, and they very nearly did it again there. But it's Holland now on the ball again for West Ham. Gone past Ray Kennedy, but he can't get past Alan Kennedy. Stewart getting in there and getting it across. Brush with the header there, cushioned down for Paul Allen. Certainly Billy Bonds yet again has given everything to West Ham this afternoon. But his side are still this goal down with just over a quarter of an hour left. But here's Devonshire again for West Ham. Stopped that time by Phil Neal, and stopped very well indeed. Finding McDermott. Johnson. Souness. Ray Kennedy. And it was Paul Allen who got that header away. Souness, though, challenged there by Nicky Morgan. McDermott finding Case. Now Phil Neal. Now Terry McDermott. And Kennedy's pass, not quite enough weight on it. And here's Brooking taking that pass from Bonds. And here's Morgan onside. Kennedy getting back very quickly indeed, though. Brooking. Oh, what a lovely ball there, played for Cross. A great save there, but the ball is knocked behind. The flag was up for an offside in any case against David Cross. But you can't deny that was again an acrobatic piece of keeping by Ray Clements. And what a pass here by Brooking. Almost without looking, he knew and sensed that Cross was there. Cross hit it first time. Good reaction save there, punching it up in the air by Clements. But by now the linesman's flag was up for offside. So again, you get that feeling that if West Ham could just put something together, Brooking uppermost, of course, in those thoughts, then this game might not yet be lost for West Ham. But as it is, it's Dalglish once more coming forward for Liverpool, finding a case. Neil. And they've been the better side, there's no question of that, except they just haven't put all this great superiority into goals that really matter. Stewart. Holland. Brush. Morgan, nice little touch there, finding Brooking, and what lovely skills by Brooking. That was beautiful. Finding Holland. And Morgan fractionally offside as Clements comes out again, but they are making a few breaks now, West Ham. That was a real hairline decision there. The linesman directly in line, though, no argument with that. Johnson. Neil. Here's Bonds. Stewart. Kennedy. Oh, and Holland has put the ball into the path there of Alan Hansen. I wonder what that linesman was flagging for there. He's given a free kick to Liverpool, which maybe was that his flag was just that little bit too quick. There may well have been an infringement there by Billy Bonds on Alan Kennedy, but the ball had fallen nicely into Alan Hansen's path. And I think Liverpool might feel a little aggrieved at the speed with which the flag and whistle came about. .11 minutes left, Liverpool leading 1-0 with this free kick now. Graham Souness over the ball, playing it wide here for Alan Kennedy. There's his cross coming in, and Martin with the header. Ray Kennedy. Case. And there's Stewart. So Liverpool get the throw. Four boys from Westmoreland today. Allen playing it for Holland. Morgan
Good control there, but a free kick given. Yes, there was a foul on Nicky Morgan, gives West Ham the free kick. Brookie. Now, can West Ham prize a goal out of Liverpool in these last 10 minutes? Well, not that way. Alan Kennedy's ball forward, Dalglish nodding it on. That was a nice economical bit of play there that took Liverpool from one end of the field to the other. Particularly that little header by Dalglish. It's a corner for Liverpool off Billy Bonds, who's been quite magnificent again today. Dalglish with the corner. Again played wide, again for Souness, and again a goal kick. Brooking caught there by Dalglish, and it's Kennedy who almost gets to the ball. West Ham who get the throw. Martin, cross. Stewart again to Morgan. Stewart, played in for Brooking. Holland. Stewart again, and Brooking trying to get the turn on there for Holland, but Hansen intercepted, and the ball is again safely back with Clemens. Brush. Dalglish, lovely footwork there in the end, coming up against Ray Stewart, and now it's Alan Devonshire. Finding Stewart. Brush. Devonshire again. Johnson back to Neil. McDermott touching it back there. It'll come here for Kennedy, played in again towards Dalglish in there. Case. McDermott. Souness. 6 minutes left. Brooking. And now Devonshire. A long sweeping pass. And Alan Kennedy with every chance of getting there before Pat Holland. It's been warm work for them as well. Holland. Oh, Allen taking the little 1-2 there from Morgan, but beaten away at the very last, and it's with Paul Brush again, though. Cross there towards Nicky Morgan, and Souness
Back to Ray Clements. Hansen. Johnson. Oh, a lovely ball there by Johnson, and Hansen had continued his run so well. Here's Dalglish looking to get it on the turn, but reluctant it seems to have a shot. But David Johnson, goal kick. They've been formidable in so many different areas, Liverpool, but their firepower hasn't quite matched their approach work and their defence. Dalglish playing it in again, but that's Phil Parkes' ball. Bonds. And now Devonshire. Played there for Stewart. Is this the telling counter thrust now by West Ham? Oh, Brooking has gone past Kennedy. That's a lovely cross by him. David Cross on the far side. West Ham complained that Cross was unfairly dealt with there, but the referee spread his arms wide. That's a West Ham throw. Well, West Ham were looking for a penalty, but John Hunting didn't even give it a second thought. Morgan again for West Ham. Devonshire played in for Stewart. Lobbed in there towards Paul Allen, and Ray Clements dummies them all and lets the ball go across for the goal kick. Well, they've resisted any temptation to bring on substitutes. Bob Paisley, as he puts his tie back on. Looking for that usual settled side, which, my word, they've certainly got at Anfield. When you think that they've spent something like £600,000 in the last few months on Ian Rush from Chester and Richard Money from Fulham, and they can't even get on the substitutes bench. But here's Dalglish. Brooking picking up that loose ball. Playing it in there for Devonshire. 2 minutes to go now. Brooking takes it up again. Now Devonshire. That's an interesting ball here, wide for Pat Holland. And Paul Allen has got a lot of space in the middle. Here's Paul Allen. Flicked on again there. Phil Thompson knocking it wide. And they don't even get a corner. Allen. Stewart pumping it in there. McDermott. Not quite where he meant that header to go. And another throw for West Ham. Straight to Souness, that throw. And now Ray Kennedy, and that's a Liverpool throw. About a minute left. McDermott banging that one away. Another West Ham throw. But just a matter of seconds left now. Pat Holland with it. Brooking clearly thought it was a West Ham throw. Ray Kennedy takes it for Liverpool. Martin. Stewart. Fading again towards David Cross, but the Liverpool skipper Phil Thompson was there once more. Alan Kennedy this time. But Morgan battling away there, and a foul on the Liverpool number 3 gives Liverpool a free kick. Into time added on for stoppages. Incidentally, neither trainer's been on the field at all in this game. But it looks as though Liverpool are going to mark the start of a new season with a victory at Wembley. As the final whistle goes, Terry McDermott's goal brings victory for Liverpool, a smile and a handshake from their manager. And the season hasn't exactly got off with a bang after today's performance, in difficult conditions, in great humidity there. But certainly the power and the professionalism of Liverpool is there for all to see. West Ham certainly felt it. And I suppose the consolation that West Ham get out of this is that they played well enough to feel that nobody is really going to rip them apart this season. With a side that battled away, particularly in the second half, and looked for 1 or 2 breaks that might just pull the game back level their way. Ray Clements, who had so little to do. And so Liverpool, just as they did last year, will go up to pick up the Charity Shield. The start of a long, hard season for both clubs as Liverpool seek to win the Football League Championship again, and West Ham, this has been a marvellous pipe opener for them. They'd be the first to say that. But their main priority, of course, has got to be promotion to the First Division. As Bob Paisley goes around shaking hands with friend and foe alike, and I should think a warm handshake there for Billy Bonds, because I think he's put on the sort of performance that Bob Paisley would appreciate today, full of guts and fire, and so much running and enthusiasm in it too. Well done. If you can lip read John Lau, the West Ham manager, well done. And he knows the side battled well, particularly in that second half. And against a side of the power of Liverpool to come out of it just 1 goal down, well, that's no disgrace. The backroom staff there is Ronnie Moran and Joe Fagan, Bob Paisley. I wonder if they'll be back at Wembley again this season. So Liverpool go up the steps to collect the Charity Shield. And that's not the easiest of climbs after 90 hard minutes in the humidity and sunshine. But there's a happy smile from Phil Thompson, his chairman John Smith there, and from Joe Mercer, a great Evertonian. The Charity Shield goes to Liverpool. So Liverpool are back on the warpath.